Welcome to AlexandraTV. I am Alexandra Villarroel Abrego, and thank you so much for tuning in. Today's episode is probably one of the most important videos that I've ever made. What I'm going to talk about today is something that's very, very important to me, and I think it should be also important to you and to the entire world, really. I think that we're living in a very defining time in human history. A lot of people around the world are awakening. They're realizing the truth, if we can say it like that, of how the universe works and how the energies in the world today are changing. And nowadays I can see that a lot of people out there, especially women, are all about feminism and female empowerment. And I think it's great. It's really great. But every time, most of the time, when I hear women talk about feminism and female empowerment, I can see how they don't understand what it really is, or should I say, what it should be. I always say that most of the feminists in the world today are kind of masculist, because in reality what they're doing is that they're degrading the feminine energy and they're empowering the masculine energy. They're basically putting the masculine power on a pedestal, saying that this is how I want to be and I don't want to be feminine. We have to agree, before I even start this video, that masculine and feminine are two very different energies. And whether you want to admit it or not, masculine and feminine have different aspects to each other, really. So now what I want to do is I want to give you a little, if I can say, lesson on history. We're going to go back centuries ago, way before you existed, or even your grandmother or grandfather existed. There was a time in human history where women ruled, where the goddess was worshipped, and it wasn't God, but it was the goddess, really. That was a time when the patriarchal society wasn't ruling yet. Today, in today's world, in this generation, 2014, it is a patriarchal society that we live in. It's the masculine power and the masculine energy that is ruling. But back then, way back then, there was a time where women were worshipped. And women were worshipped because our ability to carry a child in our womb for 9 months and after that bring it to the world was a mystery. Science did not exist at the time, so men looked at women and were worshiping them, basically, because they didn't understand how they had that magical power. Later, when the causes and reasons for childbirth were discovered, that's when slowly but surely the feminine energy started to be degraded. When men realized their powers and realized that they were strong and they could go out and bring the food to the house and they would go out and cut the wood for the fire, that's when they started to realize that they were physically strong. And because they were physically strong, they I guess at that time they thought that, oh, we are better than women because of our physical strength. And that's when slowly women started to go down in their position, the social position, if I can say it like that. Much later, when women realized that they were tired of being inferior to men and that they were tired of not having a voice, that's when the feminist movement exploded back in the 70s. Women fought for our rights, and it was a great time in history, because all of a sudden women were together, uniting, fighting for a great cause. However, the problem with the feminist movement is that it masculated most women, and that it made them, if I can say it like that, ashamed of their feminine energy. All of a sudden, they wanted to be more like men. Because they wanted to be equal to men, they decided that they had to become like men and let go of their feminine energy. See, here is the thing. For centuries, we watched Daddy get up in the morning, get dressed, and go out into the world and work, while Mommy was staying home and taking care of us. And somewhere in our subconscious mind, we started to believe what society was telling us. We started to believe that Daddy's role was much more important and valuable than Mommy's role. So somewhere, once again, in our subconscious mind, we started to think, I don't want to be like Mommy, I want to be like Daddy. Therefore, I don't want to be feminine. I don't want to have nothing to do with the feminine aspects, which are to nurture, to give love. And instead, I want to be more masculine. So I want to protect. I want to go out there and provide. That's what I want to do. The more we wanted to live in the masculine world, the more we lost our femininity as women. And not only that, but let's say expressions like you run like a girl made us ashamed to be women. Men, on the other hand, were never ashamed of their masculinity. We're never ashamed to be men. Men are very comfortable being men and being masculine, and they are happy and proud of the aspects of the masculine. So why are we as women constantly trying to be like men and not embracing the feminine aspect? The truth is that we all have the yin and the yang inside of us. We all have feminine and masculine energy inside of us. But the problem is that at this present moment on planet Earth, there is a major imbalance in the energies. It's like the feminine energy is becoming extinct because everyone wants to be more masculine and we are kind of denying the feminine energy. No one wants to have nothing to do with being more feminine. Both men and women are basically denying the feminine energy. The thing is that both the masculine energy and the feminine energy have their good and their bad sides. What's funny though is that we all embrace the good and even the bad sides of the masculine energy, but we completely neglect the good and the bad sides of the feminine energy. Aspects like competition, like strength, like control, like leadership are looked up on, which are more of masculine aspects, and aspects like compassion, sensitivity, like understanding are viewed as being weak. But we have to change this. It's really now or never. As I said at the beginning of the video, we are really living in a very defining time in human history. We have entered the Aquarius era, so it's a time really for change. And we have to embrace the feminine aspect, the feminine energy, because honestly, and I know this sounds very dramatic, but it's true, humanity cannot survive if there's not a balance within the energies. So it's very important that as women, especially as women, we learn how to embrace the feminine side, and that way we will teach men to also embrace their feminine side, to be more compassionate, to be more understanding, and things like that. It's very important that we take action now and that we start doing this now. And you will see that by embracing the feminine energy, you will see how much better you will feel as a woman and about yourself. I know that for a lot of people who are watching this, especially the women who call themselves feminists, you might watch this and get very angry and get very mad. And it's normal because you have been taught otherwise. You have been taught that the aspects that I name as being feminine are bad aspects, are weak. So you don't want to define your femininity in those aspects. But do a little bit of research, read a few books, and you will understand that feminine and masculine have two very different aspects, and both of their aspects are good. Okay, there's nothing wrong with being more emotional. There's nothing wrong with being sensitive, with being understanding, with being caring. It's as good as being a protector, as being a provider, as being more strong. They both complement one another. And it really doesn't matter what you do in life, what your work is. It's possible to be more feminine in a male-dominated environment, as it is also possible to be masculine in a female-dominated environment. You still can be a businesswoman working in a corporate job and still be able to be feminine and still be able to feel compassion for others. You can be a man at a home changing diapers for your babies and you still can be masculine. So that is it for today. I really hope that you will understand, first of all, this video, and that you will start changing how you see the different aspects, the yin and the yang, and the masculine energy and the feminine energy. Both of the aspects of each of these energies are good, and we need to learn how to embrace it and create a balance within us. We can't let the feminine energy become extinct, because if that happens, I really believe that humanity will also become extinct. So that is it. As I said, if you like this video, please share it with as many people as possible. As I said, it's a very defining time and there has to be a change. Don't forget to like, and don't forget, of course, to subscribe for new videos in English every single Wednesday. I will see you next week for another episode of Alexandra TV.